Hello, everybody. Welcome to Take the Black Live, the show where we talk about things like Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, Star Wars, Star Trek, Star Anything, sci-fi, fantasy, stories, fiction, books, movies, television, other things, comic books, maybe, I don't know, pamphlets. I am Dan Selcke, and so we had a couple technical difficulties there. Thanks for being with us. You know how it is. I am Dan Selcke, the editor of winteriscoming.net, and who are you?
Mia Johnson, entertainment editor over on fansided.com.
How are you doing, Mia? How are you finding? Are you used to quarantine yet? Is it like become part of your life now?
You know what? I feel like the chains are slowly being taken away. I went to Bed Bath & Beyond last week, which that was exciting. It's one of like the very few stores open, so it's kind of like finding a whole new meaning to going out. But still, I'm kind of in, so I'm used to it at this rate, but slowly like trickling out. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just pretty quickly, like after I got over the breaking routine of not going into the office and settling into my work from home, I got used to it pretty quick, and I got pretty used to it. But yeah, it is nice to have a change breaking. Although we'll talk about today, Ressi asked, what's this about? It's about all things sci-fi, fantasy, movies, TV, Ressi. And today we're going to talk about a little bit in a second about how Hollywood is starting up filming again. They're making movies and making TV shows, and whether that's a super duper good idea or possibly a disaster.
Yeah.
But first, I want to talk about the thing that really matters now and always, and that thing is hair. Mia, just to get us off on a whimsical note.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones star Kit Harington stepped out of his apartment, no mask, may I add, or his townhouse, mansion, whatever he has, to walk his dog, and just one of those like moments where you like see like an old friend and they just look completely different, you know?
Yeah.
Stepped out with a buzz cut, and I don't know, like it had a small emotional effect on me.
Oh, Kit.
Because, you know, on Game of Thrones, he was known for this long, luscious, beautiful, coiffed mane.
Yeah.
And to see him, you know, with like an army surplus store sort of #1 across the bow, Widow's Peak showing. I mean, yeah, look at him.
Yeah, he's shed that old coat. I'm taking a look. Oh, Kit. Oh, please go ahead.
I was going to say that it looks like Rose Leslie cut it. Like, I bet this is a quarantine haircut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, quarantine cut. It's a little, it's a little patchy. The lineup at the front is a little. Well, I don't know if he wants the Widow's Peak or not, but you know what? I bet it's freeing. I bet it's liberating. I know a lot of the guys have been complaining, that the barber shops have been closed down. So I'll cut him some slack, and it's getting summertime. It's hot. You got to take all that hair off.
Oh, me. My hair is longer than it has ever been in my entire life. I can put it over my entire eye.
Yeah.
But very soon, I'm going to crack and do a quarantine haircut. So that's just a cute little thing. Also, we have other kind of quarantine gatherings. We have a bunch of Game of Thrones stars who are coming together to play Dungeons and Dragons for charity. We got Daniel Portman, who played Podrick, got Jen Wynn, who played Yara, Kristen Nairn, who played Hodor, Natalia Tena, who played Osha, and Ewan Rand, who played Ramsay Bolton, getting together to... And I've heard of this happening more often for this campaign, D&D Live 20 Roll with Advantage, where you just kind of play Dungeons and Dragons, these Game of Thrones stars, people watch, and I never quite understood how that translates to charity, but I assume it does.
Yeah.
Like give donations or something.
Yeah, like a telethon or something, yeah.
Which is a cute idea, right?
Yeah, it should be fun. I know tons of people who were like into Critical Role. And so it'll be kind of fun because Dungeons and Dragons in a way is like in that realm of fantasy, and you get to see whatever characters they take on or whatever adventure they go on in this Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played myself, but I know like the general gist of how it's played.
I hope they like choose characters that correspond to who they were on the show.
Yeah.
Although I hope Kristen Nairn has a more than one word vocabulary. I think he's earned that,
Please speak for us. What can you say?
That'd be really, really easy character to play, though. All you got to do is do one word over and over again. And then finally, other little quarantine news. We got, there was going to be this giant Game of Thrones studio tour that's like this big, elaborate, like permanent fixture in Northern Ireland. You know, it was going to open, I think, in October. Obviously, with everything going on, unsurprisingly delayed because, you know, in order to do things like put in work orders and do catering and open up new public space, you got to be able to move and interact. And right now, it's just kind of a little bit hard. So, like, quarantine and the coronavirus are still the news of the day. And I would talk to you about, Mia, and all of you watching, Joe, Isha, Taylor, so I saw Kit Harington and clicked. Solid instinct, Joisha, or Janisha. Yeah, I can't blame you for that. What do you think of the Kit Harington buzz cut? Is it disturbing or delighting you in the way that it's affecting me? I'd be curious to know. But anyway, I want to talk to you, Mia, about Hollywood reopening, basically.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff going on. I know that today, a producer on the Avatar sequel, which everyone really wants to see.
Oh, man.
So badly.
Lining up around the block.
I mean, I assume they will be. We'll see what happens. He posted a picture. They are filming again in New Zealand, cameras. And I got to say, didn't see a lot of masks in that photo either. Just like a really strange choice to like put on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Dominion, huge movie. Those movies are very, very popular, by the way. I've never seen one, but they make complete bank. They're going to start up again in England, which is, you know, a little bigger because England is, you know, a very populous country, kind of like America, and it had a big problem with this. New Zealand, like, tampered it down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So even in a place like England, things are going to start happening. I think Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pratt are going over there to like, so they get quarantined for like 14 days at the airport hotel or something. And then they go to set after that is the kind of deal when you do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So they won't be filming right away. They're going to come into the country. They're going to quarantine to make sure like there's nothing on the flight or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if it's apparently out of their system, then they'll jump in. That's kind of interesting.
I mean, I guess what you have to do, I think, like if you're traveling internationally, not just if you're a movie star, if you're anybody, if you're even able to travel internationally now, that's what has to happen to you. Like whether you're filming a major motion picture or you're visiting your nana in France, whatever. And when they get there, the new normal for Hollywood is going to be like, okay, so Jurassic Park movie just for that. Everyone gets coronavirus training. There's like a private medical facility on site. There are isolation booths. There are like 1,000, and I'm quoting. I'm not like saying 1,000 for exaggeration's sake. Hand sanitizer stations, kind of like placed around the set. Nightly antiviral fogs. They're all like on a staggered schedule. So, you know, like half comes in now, half comes in later. They isolate folk who show symptoms and more. So do you think this is like, is it time, basically? Is it time to get back to work, or are we tempting fate here?
This, to me, it seems a little tempting. I think after, like, for us, it's been like 3 months, you know, going through this, and there's probably some people who feel a little antsy or itchy and ready to go. I think for them, it seems like it's the right idea, but it just isn't sitting right with me. And I'll tell you, our family was planning a vacation. We were thinking about going out to LA, and we got like plane tickets we got them cheap, like right when the pandemic was happening. And it was like around the time where you were like, this will be over in a month. And we've just been we've been like sitting on them, hoping like, you know, please, you know, by July, let it, you know, be clear. And we finally, like, just this weekend settled, and we were like, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to go out. We don't want to go to Disney World or anything like that. Because it just seems like it's still tempting with all these cases out there. And, you know, there's still reported deaths and all that. So it's like just being around such a massive group of people still kind of, you know, gives me pause. And I guess that applies to Hollywood too.
Oh, completely. I mean, obviously, they're taking precautions, but I mean, the report is that even though like the overall deaths and cases are going down, like say in the US, Like worldwide, it's going up because like
Yeah.
there are some countries that are just kind of, like it's just really kind of hitting them. And even in the U.S., there are states where it's going up, and even though mostly it's going down. And I mean, they're gonna take precautions. But you mentioned Disneyland, like while these movies are kind of gearing back up to shoot on these incredibly like isolated, tamped down, coronavirus-proof sets, like Disney is putting plans together to reopen its parks.
Yeah.
Which
and they would have opened I think it's like July 17th, and that was like right when we were planning on going. And so I'm like, do you know? And the thing is that, there are people who are not thinking, with their safety in mind and thinking about their fun in mind. So I'm like, even though I'm sure Disney would like be planning to have reduced capacity, there's still going to be so many people clamoring to go, clamoring to get out there and ride the rides and be in, close proximity with everyone. I think with like Universal too, it's already been like, who's following the rules here? It's going to be trouble.
I mean, look, like if you're all together at a beach party or at a amusement park, you're not following the rules. Debbie agrees with you, by the way. Wants more Jurassic Park, but also I'm with you, Mia. Going to the grocery store is risky enough for me. And Agnes agrees too. Tempting fate, baby. Give it a few more months. I mean, I think the problem here, like with Disney specifically, it's like you have amusement parks that are designed for people to go in and spend time together, waiting in like, can you imagine those like long lines for the roller coasters at those rides with like 6 feet apart?
On top of social distancing is like, oof.
I'm just gonna say it. That's impossible. Like, there's no way that would work. I mean, and I'm sure that they're going to limit the folk who can go in at a time, but still, I mean, it's just this weird situation where I understand that they want to get the machine running again, and so we're like coming up against the world runs on money, but it doesn't much matter if the world runs if everyone in it is dead or diseased.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like historic clash of priorities that I can't really remember ever talking before. Yeah. And just watch it play out. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think that we were already kind of seeing that play out in Texas, which I think it was like the senator or governor, I forget which one, was kind of scolding, the citizens, and he's like, these cases are rising, you young people need to be more careful. But it was like, you were the one who was trying to open up the state in the first place. So, you kind of have your cause and effect answer now. Like, it's going to continue to spread, so long as people are out and so long as there's not a vaccine, unfortunately.
I mean, like, just for the entertainment industry, they'll do what they do. I said before, it's fortunate this whole thing came along when it, like, right now, because the technology we have, like, even in making TV and movies, like that Mandalorian technology where they just have you on a set. Yeah. They have those, like, LED screens behind you where they, like, project outdoor scenes. And make it so you can like go to Iceland without ever leaving the set. Like, what a great time for some of that. Yeah.
Like, we're here, just in our little. Well, then it's kind of like, I think the thing is like being in the great outdoors versus being in a like closed environment where something maybe can escape, like, your sneezes or your breath or whatever, or those little, but I mean, if it's a really big, like Mandalorian size warehouse, it might be a little easier to get by. But yeah, I know like some other Disney shows have been rumored to, like the WandaVision, I think they wanted, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, they want to start finishing by July as well. Right. So, like, well,
I wonder too if there are like smaller productions that aren't going to be able to afford like nightly antiviral fogs and 18,000 hand sanitizer stations and all this like extra medical stuff. Like, it might just get priced out and just like not happen.
I thought about that.
I mean, Disney will be fine, but
right,
they'll always be fine. Although, wouldn't it be true if they weren't? Wouldn't it this took them down?
Fall of Disney. Corona just takes the bat and goes right to the knees.
Anything could happen. All right. Any more thoughts about the coronavirus? And how it relates?
It is kind of weird, that it feels like we're on the tail end of this and that everything is over and everything is opening up and Hollywood wants to get back to it. But I think we're going to have to wait another couple months to see the results of that, for Hollywood and for movie making in the cases. It's like, gosh, what is going to happen?
Edge of our seat television. Before we go on to our next topic, which I think you have an evisceration of a recently released beloved Disney property, let's take a brief moment to advertise for the WIC Club. Do you like what we do but want to have more articles, more videos, and a special prize each month? Then consider joining the WIC Club. All you got to do is buy a t-shirt, a WIC Club t-shirt, and you get access to all these wonderful things, prizes for the rest of your life or however long we keep doing this show. I'll leave a link right here for your amusement. Kabam. All right, Mia. Now we're moving on. Okay, so you watched one of the movies that kind of made waves in the first when this all started, the coronavirus. This Artemis Fowl movie was going to be out in theaters, and they released it on Disney Plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten some buzz. Mia, you watched it. What did you think? What's the deal with this?
So this is an interesting movie. It's an adaptation of a series of novels starring Artemis Fowl. The idea was, in this book, this is a young 12-year-old boy, and he's a super genius, and he's kind of like a young, they call him criminal mastermind. So he, he's a little evil. He can get away with other things that you typically don't see in a Disney movie. You usually see the heroes and this and this and that.
Right.
When it comes to Disney and them fiddling with this movie, unfortunately, I don't think that translated so well from the book to the screen. And I have not I am so curious now to actually read the books, just because of I've been going through the Reddit subs and Twitter to see how Disney messed this up and broke people's hearts with this movie. It's directed by Kenneth Branagh, who is like an oppressor. Yeah, Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around
Harry
for
Potter,
a long time.
So he knows fantasy.
And,
he directed
Shakespeare
Thor.
back in the day.
Yeah, he's a Shakespeare guy. But this just was not his moment. And it was part of them, I don't know, losing the plot, losing what this story meant to all the fans, losing what Artemis Fowl actually was. They said he's a criminal mastermind in the movie. There was no such indication of that. And it was kind of like the plot overall was just it was hard to follow. It was there's nothing really substantial going on. You didn't even want to root for Artemis Fowl. There was one character, bless her heart, who was brought into the movie, and I hear she was in the books and stuff, and they gave her zero to do. She brings Artemis Fowl a sandwich in one scene, and that's the extent
That's good.
of her entire. I felt so sorry for her. So I watched this movie with my brother this weekend, and we laughed through the whole thing. It was so was so bad. And other people might enjoy it. I've seen a couple good reviews here and there, but I want to look up the Rotten Tomatoes score because it was at 11%.
That's
over the weekend, and as of today, it is. Oh, now it's at 10%. With an audience score of 21%. So that's what I watch. Before I shut up, I want everyone to see this movie just so they can witness it. Just so I have something to talk to people about. So one time I'll recommend something that's bad.
So maybe it wasn't a bad idea to release it on the streaming service. It wouldn't have gone terribly well over in the theater. Right.
Yeah, I really don't think this would have had a flying chance in the theater. So it's good that, somebody can put it on in the background, if they've got babysitting kids or something like that, or they just need something to do or something to watch out of boredom during quarantine. But yeah, I feel bad for all the fans out there who love this series.
I mean, yeah, it's always heartbreaking to love something and then see it translated and it just sucks.
Yeah.
I know, just talking about kind of young adult books that are fantasy books that translate to screen, I know that a lot of people hated those Percy Jackson movies.
That's what they've been comparing this to.
Yeah.
This one might have sunk even lower, though, so that's kind of sad.
And I mean, it's interesting that, I don't get why a company like that would change these things so drastically.
Yeah.
The books are very popular. They're popular because people like them. and your solution is to take out all those things and make something different.
Yeah, to whittle it down. I don't know. It's weird. The movie was about like 90-ish minutes. I don't know if it should have gone longer so they can include more things. I even looked at all the deleted scenes, and there was actually some good deleted scenes that they could have kept in the movie that explained the plot. So I don't know really where they went wrong or why, they took the route that they did.
What was Judi Dench doing in it?
Judi Dench was an elf. She was part of this magical elf brigade of, she's 2 for 2 now with cats and bad.
Oh, that's right. She's having a terrible year.
She was the lead of these like elf police who were trying to stop Artemis Fowl for reasons that took me too long to figure out why. Yeah. I only give it my recommendation only because I think it's a phenomenon that everyone needs to experience, and it's a weird like fantasy because there's elves and there's magic, but it feels like a cross between like Harry Potter and Star Wars, with the way that they approach magic and the whole like magical realm of Ireland. So it's kind of interesting how that was executed.
All right. Well, I'm sorry it was bad, but I'm glad you seem to enjoy watching it.
I enjoyed it for what it's worth, and enjoyed
watching with someone who also doesn't like it can actually be more fun in some cases than watching a movie. Wait, I've been watching. So, okay, last week, Agnes says, plenty to watch Artemis Fowl, but expect major disappointment. Probably need to start GOT again. Judi Dench and Elf. I know, right? Yeah. I'm sure they paid her a lot of money. Last week on this show, I believe it was Lisa recommended What We Do in the Shadows. And if it wasn't, I'm sorry to whoever did recommend it. Which I'd always heard about, always looked interesting. The show from Taika Waititi and Guillermo del Toro about kind of like a comedy about vampires living in Staten Island.
Yeah.
And it looked good, but I thought it was an hour-long show. I just didn't have the time to devote to it. It's a half hour long. I checked it out. Okay, this show is great. I am sorry I wasn't watching it earlier. I think everyone should watch it. I suspect you might enjoy it. Yeah. It's basically What We Do in the Shadows. It's on Hulu. I believe it runs on, I don't know, probably FX or something.
I think so, yeah.
A trio of vampires, very old, like hundreds of years old, live in Staten Island in a dilapidated mansion. They all kind of are stuck in the centuries they were born in, so they're all talking like counts and countesses with the collars and the clothes. And it's filmed like The Office. Like there's a documentary crew there filming them, which some of this sounds kind of tired saying it out loud. Because, The Office has been done. The gag, ooh, I'm much older than I look and I'm stuck in another time has been done. But it's done with a lot of heart. You can tell people like really believe in what they are doing. Mm-hmm. And the characters are funny first. That's the first thing. But they are consistent too. Mm. And I'm finding it really, really fun. Really, really, just a good time. Yeah. And the main guy is one of their human familiars who was clearly based on Guillermo del Toro. I think his name is Guillermo. And he's kind of like a sad sack. He wants to become a vampire, but they just keep stringing him along over and over and have him run errands for them. It's good stuff. I'm having the first season. I'm really, really liking it. So I'm glad to whoever recommended that to me. I think it was Lisa, but I have not confirmed.
Have you seen the movie?
No.
Okay, so I've seen the movie and I really enjoyed the movie. And so I'm like, I don't see why not. I was excited to hear that they were going to make a series about it, but I wasn't sure how it was going to pan out. Or I was like, sometimes if you try to make a series out of something, it just doesn't work. So that sounds great. I'm glad to see that it's working out. Oh no. Dan muted himself.
I did. I muted myself to drink some water, and then I forgot that I was muted. FX been killing it. FX has this. It has Mrs. America. They're doing a great job. Hulu's become like a giant hit for me in the past,
oh really?
During this difficult quarantine period. So kudos to you, Hulu. And finally, I wanted to talk about they released some new images for the second season of The Umbrella Academy on the Netflix. Did you watch this particular program, Mia, before?
I watched when it came out. I think this is before I got hired to work here, so I wasn't like required to watch stuff.
Sure.
So I watched like half of it. So I know what it's about, but I didn't finish the series. I didn't finish the first season, but I watched like a majority of it, I think.
It was cute, right? I enjoyed it. I didn't like love it, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was, goofy and interesting and committed.
Yeah. I think it was, I liked it. I wouldn't say there's anything for me not to like about it. They had some really pretty good characters, and trying to like figure out the mystery with their father or whatever is going on there. I just drop out because I'm like, I'll make up the rest of my head. But now I've got something to watch now that it's returning for season 2, right? In July.
Like basically it's this like dysfunctional family of superheroes who get back together after their kind of benefactor dies, and there's a mystery, there's an apocalypse. Mary J. Blige was in it as an assassin, which was okay. You do you, Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of like a little like too willfully quirky sometimes, Like,
yeah, I can see that.
We are full of twee and quirk and charm. Like, picture right there. Like, the one character has, like, a female mannequin as his love interest. And it's like, there's, like, a line between clever and you are trying too hard to make this wackiness work sometimes. Not always. I thought it was, like, on the wrong side of that occasionally. Mostly it was a good time. I did enjoy it. As Sherry says, love the crazy characters. I enjoy the crazy characters too, more or less. And it was a hit. I mean, oh, by the way, I learned this. Did you know that the guy who wrote The Umbrella Academy is the lead singer for emo rock band My Chemical Romance?
Yeah.
You knew that?
I did know that. I knew that from the right from the gate. I thought that was a big thing, and everyone knew that. I guess not.
Sherry says there is a crazy dreaded brother superhero. Who doesn't love that? Klaus is probably the best one, I think.
I love Klaus. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. He was funny. I watch him. So yeah, I'm down for that. I'm excited for more. And second season sometimes can really boost confidence.
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch? Sherry didn't know that. I didn't know that either. Sherry, who would have thought it? Are you gonna watch that Perry Mason show this weekend? HBO is remaking Perry Mason of all things.
Yeah, that's right.
1940s, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, that's like my grandmother's show or something like that. It did look. Yeah, it's super, edgy and cool and dramatic now. And I don't know, maybe just because it's the name Perry Mason, I'm like, I don't need to be watching that.
I do kind of wonder, like, who it's for,
Yeah.
Like, what crowd are you hoping to rope in here, HBO? But I guess we'll see. It's pretty high profile, so I'm gonna check it out just because I'm kind of curious.
Okay.
I mean, I've never seen the original show.
No, me neither.
I think we were all born like close to 50 years after it aired, but
yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on anything, Mia? Life, the world, TV movies, anything?
Oh, no. Well, next week, I told you, is my birthday. So if anyone wants to come with gifts or shower of praise next week, come with those prepared. You don't have to have it ready now, but I will be expecting them.
As Debbie says, the original Perry Mason was now in black and white. Now I'm showing my age. It's fine, Debbie. The new one, I mean, I have to think that like most folk who are going to watch it didn't watch the original.
I feel like it, yeah. It unless maybe it's like someone like my father, like a Gen X sort, like who know of it, but are also kind of into like HBO sitcom shows too. So I can see that maybe kind of happening.
Yeah, I'm curious. And if any of you have any questions for us, me, Mia, about her birthday, Perry Mason, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, movies, TV, whatsoever, feel free to write them to this address and we can peruse them ahead of time and answer them. Write us at Blurg. I made that last night. I'm going to try it out, see what happens. And of course, we are available on iTunes, Google Play, where podcasts are downloadable, listenable. feel free to listen to us there and to give us the maximum number of stars allowable in a review. Not because, we're telling you, because you think we deserve it. And if we don't, just do it anyway. We'd appreciate it. That's about all I got. Mia, anything else?
Yeah, no, that's it for me too.
Okay, we'll be back next week, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, here on the Winter's Brain Facebook page. Hope to see you then. Have a lovely week.